Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of November 3rd. We're going to jump right in here. You have this lone wolf card. It says, listen to your inner wolf and embrace your sacred wild nature that thirsts for freedom. You have this healing energy card. It says you're in the process of healing, eliminating any bad energy from your life. Yeah, it's a good month. I would say the whole entire month, really, is good for healing, with Mercury going retrograde, of course, on the 9th of the month, and any extra healing that you can do would be a good idea. I was literally, you cannot make this up. I knew I should have said it. I was literally going to say that I was getting something about good news. And you have this good news card, and you have this caregiver card, which is also good for self-care and healing energy and all that other good stuff. But yeah, I was feeling something about like good news here on that lone wolf card, which has nothing to do with news, but I read intuitively. And so it's like there's good, or I don't know, maybe like exciting news coming in for you. I feel like it has to do with your freedom, basically, or being set free in life. You could be removing like a major obligation from your life, or maybe you're finally getting a job so you can quit the job that you have that sucks, or whatever. It has like it's like that kind of freedom is what I feel. It's like you've been obligated to something, and now the obligation is being removed. This could also be like expectations as well, because of the Three of Pentacles. The thing about the Three of Pentacles that I will tell you is, sometimes I wonder if the Three of Pentacles is a card of being compared, like, people comparing you to something, because, like the traditional meaning of the Three of Pentacles is that these people are kind of, these are their plans, and he's completing the job, and he's done a very good job. But sometimes I feel that it's almost like this person here, or both these people, are kind of like judging him, or he feels like he is being judged for the work that he is doing. Now, is this accurate, tarot? I don't know, maybe, but that's kind of how I feel for you here, Leo. It's like maybe that's what you're being set free from, is like the judgments of others. But again, the thing that I will say is that usually with the Three of Pentacles, I would say that these are kind of like judgments that we're putting on ourselves. We don't really know if it exists or not. You know what I'm saying? And so I will say that to you, that it's like you might not know if that judgment is real or not. You might be making it up in your head, right? And so that's definitely something to think about with the Three of Pentacles. And the other thing is like the Queen of Wands here. Queen of Wands is about developing confidence. She needs to have confidence, right? And so it's all about being bold, being assertive, and being confident. I'll tell you a story. Years ago, before I started this YouTube channel, I had a podcast, right? And unfortunately, I deleted it. That was one of my early YouTube channels, that before, like over 11 years ago now. And I was interviewing a person, and they were just like very stone-faced, they like, they almost weren't emotional, which was kind of weird. But like I'm awkward to begin with. For those of you that have met me in public, I'm sure you've told all your friends how awkward I am when you meet me. Because I'm always like, where do I put my hands? The Ricky Bobby thing, right? So when I was interviewing this person, like they weren't giving me anything, you know what I mean? Like emotional, right? And it's like, it kind of like I got stuck in the interview because you know what I mean? It's like I had a hard time asking questions at first, because like I got stuck, like I couldn't feel their emotions or something like that, right? I don't know why I feel like I need to tell you this, but I do. Like I feel like I need to tell you this story. And so like the Queen of Wands, like if I had confidence, I would have just kept going, right? I wouldn't have worried about, like I think the problem was that I thought I asked a bad question, right? And like I thought that I pissed the person off or something like that. Like I don't really know what I was thinking at the time, but something like that, right? And, but if I had more confidence, I would have just kept going. It wouldn't have like tripped me up, it wouldn't have stopped me. And at that moment, I picked it back up after, but it kind of tripped me up at first. And I don't know, I just like have that feeling here where, that's the best way I can describe the Three of Pentacles, like feeling like you're being judged by one person or two people or whatever, needing to have the confidence to just like keep going and not needing the feedback. Maybe it's like, maybe that's what I was looking for in that moment, is like feedback, something. And I still remember how awkward that was. You have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is a card of like taking a risk. You always get the Five of Swords with me, Leo. And so I definitely feel it's like time for you to put yourself out there in a bigger way. For sure. Leo's very good at getting attention, and, Leos should get attention, I feel. That's like part of the reason you're here, is to learn how to stand out. So I think it would be a great time for you to like take the risk of standing out. Maybe that's where the whole judgment thing is coming in here with that Three of Pentacles, right? Let's see. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Judgment card. You literally, you cannot make that up, right? Do I need to say anything else? Probably not. I literally said the word judgment, I think, on that Three of Pentacles. So, it's basically the universe confirming the message there. Judgment isn't necessarily judgment, though. It's kind of like waking up to your purpose or waking up to a purpose. Maybe this is asking you to not look for permission on your purpose, right? Sometimes I think we can work on something. It feels good, feels right, but maybe we're afraid of what people think, or, maybe we're afraid of what people will say. And, this could be asking you to live your purpose without the need for, feedback. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Hermit. Yeah, like I said, getting sucked into that shell, going into Hermit mode. The Hermit, he needs to shine his light bright. He's earned his right to be here. I feel that for you, Leo. I feel like this reading is saying you've earned your right to stand on top. You've earned your right to be on top, or to stand out, or to get attention. But he just needs to come down from the mountain and shine his inner light. It's funny to me that you have the World, because the World can say it's time for you to get out into the world. It's time for you to shine your light in the world. And, maybe that's what this is saying. With the Five of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is work hard, play hard, of course, which I definitely feel Leos need more play, plain and simple. Just looking at the last 20 years of your life, I think that at least, maybe longer for some of you, it's too serious, not enough fun. So I think you need to start having fun. If you don't know what makes you fun, then you need to go try stuff and just see if it's fun or not. I really don't have any good advice. People leave me comments all the time saying, I don't have anything that makes me fun. I'm like, well, you got to go figure it out, man. I don't know what to tell you. You got to go try things that you think might be interesting. Yeah, maybe some of those things will suck. Maybe some of them won't. I don't know. You're going to have to try, right? But I definitely feel the reading itself, and also the energy in general, wants Leo to step into, fun. We have the Ten of Cups here. Ten of Cups is just, on a very simple level, we can look at them as choosing to have fun, or choosing to focus on happiness, love, joy, those 10 cups that exist above their heads. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this good news card. It says all forms of communication: text, email, documents, phone calls, letters, notes, voice messages. You have this caregiver. It says support, seek advice, getting help, physical, emotional healing, healer, self-care, recovering, and services. So there you go. By the way, random side note here, Leo, you have a little bit of love here showing up with the Lovers at the end, and you could be meeting a person. Maybe that's something, this is going to sound stupid, but maybe this person likes to send voice messages, so that might be a difference. I know a lot of people do that nowadays, but some people still text, and I feel like you could be meeting a person that's like a voice messenger or something, so there you go. Excellent time for healing. I've been telling everyone in the month of November to stay healthy. I wouldn't be paranoid or anything like that. I don't think anything weird is going to happen, but it just seems to be a month where we should be doing things to stay healthy, so make sure to do that. You have the High Priestess, the Page of Swords, and Ten of Wands. A very intuitive month, for sure. We're in a very intuitive time. The energy is off the charts, so I would be doing things to tap into your intuition, meditating, going for walks, driving. It's like when I drive somewhere far away, I don't even know how I get there half the time, how I haven't been in an accident. I don't know, knock on wood, right? But I just appear places most of the time. It's like I get in my car and then I'm there. How, I don't know, but again, driving can be a great way to tap into your intuition, just zoning out. Don't zone out, pay attention to the road, but I think you need to tap into your intuition. You have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is about curiosity. I think all fixed signs, and you have the World here, which is all fixed signs, need to be tapping into their curiosity. So if you have more than just Leo, if you have Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and obviously you're probably a Leo or Leo rising or whatever, I would be really paying attention to things that people tell you. It's kind of like a hard energy to describe, but we're in a time where we should be exploring ideas. And I feel for the fixed signs that there might be people who come to you and tell you something, and your first thought might just be, oh, that won't work, whatever it is, whatever the advice is. I would just be testing advice. You don't have to commit to anything. You don't have to do anything forever or any of that stuff. But I just feel for fixed signs that you could be surprised by things that work in business, in love, in all areas of your life, basically. It kind of reminds me of like children. The Page of Swords can be a child. And it's like sometimes I think children say things to us and we're just like, whatever, they're a child. Like, what the hell do they know, right? But they might know a lot. So, children are very intuitive. So you never know, right? And I'm not saying that this is like your children or anything. It could be, but it could also just be a person. Or, it's like maybe you watch someone on YouTube and you're like, I don't know if that works. I would just try things, especially if it's free, right? So, if it doesn't cost any money, maybe a little bit of time, I would be trying ideas. You have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, the month of November seems to be a month that's trying to get people to remove obligations, which I said at the beginning of your reading, or to remove, in your case, it could be, an expectation can be an obligation because you're doing something for someone else because you think that you have to, right? And so I think that, removing those things and lightening the load, which seems to be a big focus for Leo this year, 2025, you've had this message, or at least something similar, quite a few times with me. So, I would be doing anything you possibly can to lighten the load, make things easier, whatever. With the High Priestess, you have the Nine of Wands, resistance, right? Putting up the barrier, the blockage. It's a card of not giving up, but it can be a card of boundaries. I'm not telling you not to have boundaries, but maybe you need to lower your guard a little bit with your intuition or trust it more or, whatever. Again, this doesn't mean don't have boundaries. It just means, open up a little bit more intuitively. And that's what I would do. Funny enough, this is also the card of experimentation. This is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, which would probably be good. With the Page of Swords, you have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, like wish, fulfillment, getting a wish, getting something you want. And so, again, someone else might have some advice for you, Leo, and, it could lead to a wish. And like I said, I feel maybe at first you resist it or you just think that it won't work or, whatever the case may be. So I would, any advice that you're receiving, I would just give it a second look. Again, I'm not saying you have to take every last bit of advice you're receiving. I would just try it. Try advice that you get this month. Not even just this week. You're like, yes, I know this is a weekly reading, but, the entire month, I would just be trying stuff. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, walking away from things that no longer serve you, which is exactly what you should do with that Ten of Wands. The Eight of Cups, he is walking into darkness. He doesn't know what he's walking towards. He is eclipsing something out of his life, and he is going who the hell knows where. He doesn't know. Some people say he's walking towards the Nine of Cups, but again, he doesn't know that. He just knows that these 8 cups no longer serve him, and he has to make a change. So, a lot of you could be being led to a change. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Imam Quayle card, which says root on it. You have this Sagittarius card. It says expand on it. Yeah, the Imam Quayle in your astrology is the bottom, it's your 4th house cusp. And so it's the bottom of your chart. It's the opposite of your MC, your 10th house cusp. And so this is, kind of like the area of your chart that kind of brings you down to earth in something that you could ground in reality in some ways. And so, a lot of you, it might be a good month to ground yourself or to do things that make you feel more grounded. Again, we have the Hermit. The Hermit is up in the sky. He's on the top of a mountain, and maybe he needs to come down from that mountain. Also an excellent time for you to do things that make you expand or grow. Again, I think for Leo is definitely one of those signs that, I've probably said this to you before. I think Leo should all take like an extra step if you're working on any projects or doing anything important. Just going that one extra step will probably make all the difference in the world. I also feel like there's like an answer that you need here, Leo. I've been saying this to you? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure like your last couple readings maybe. I could be wrong. It might be someone else, but I'm pretty sure it's you. Something about like getting answers has been coming up. But like now it's a little bit different in this reading. It's like saying you need to get an answer. So it's like maybe you need to go get answers on something. Leo, also make sure to like and leave a comment. Really helps me out. But you have the Ten of Cups, the Death card in the World. The Ten of Cups can be fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. If you want love, you have the Lovers. So, you could be, I wouldn't really call this like a major love reading, but it is here if you want it. So some of you could be, meeting a person or getting together with someone that you'll have a family with in the future. Ten of Cups really is about choosing happiness. Again, they're standing in the real world, but they're choosing to focus on happiness. I think that is the best energy that you could nurture at this time, is happiness. The whole entire reading. Sagittarius is happiness. We were talking about something else earlier. Nine of Cups, right? Nine of Cups, we have to be in the energy. We have to be the thing we want to be before we can be it. And so, we soaking up good vibes and good energy and, putting yourself in situations that make you feel good is what this card wants you to do. You have the Death card. Yeah, definitely something is ending here. Eight of Cups, 10 of Wands, all the stuff. We could even say Page of Swords could be you looking for a different approach to something, or, looking for a new direction in life. You also have the World. The World is a good card, of course, but the World can represent completion, or, an accomplishment, an achievement, ending something, bringing something to its conclusion and starting something new. So I definitely feel there is this, some sort of change here. I feel like some of you are feeling a pull away from something. I don't even know what to say about this here, Leo. It's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I think we can be a part of something. We can have certain belief systems, or we can, belong to a group or whatever. And it's like we don't leave right away. It's like we kind of slowly drift away from the beliefs or whatever. I feel like some of you could be going through that, where it's like maybe you have a group of friends or group of people. You still spend time with them, but I feel for whatever reason, I feel that some of you could be kind of drifting away from a group or feeling a pull away from the group. It's like a little bit of a tug of war, I feel, Leo, because I feel like some of you, it's like you're kind of going back and forth on it a little bit, but I don't know. I think this is just natural life evolution, right? We change over time. You have the World, which is an accomplishment or an achievement, which is very good. So I literally feel a lot of you could have the opportunity to have an achievement at the end of the year here. I feel like it's just an opportunity because of the Hermit. The Hermit, he needs to come down to the world. You always get the Hermit with me. I'm always telling you, Leo, that you're like a teacher. And I'm not saying you're going to be standing up in front of a classroom teaching. You might. But, I think Leo is going to teach by doing. Your opposite sign is Pluto, is Aquarius. We have Pluto and Aquarius right now. Pluto and Aquarius is all about being in kind of like an inspiration to other people. And so I think that, being your opposite sign, that you are definitely going to be hit by that energy stronger than most other people. So I would take advantage of it with the World. It will probably lead to accomplishments, achievements, standing out, pretty much whatever. So let's see. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be a Knight in Shining Armor coming in for you here. So maybe this is where you need to get answers. It's like, especially if you're interested in a friend or something like that, someone I kind of get that feeling of needing to get an answer, which I was saying over here. The Knight of Cups is Knight in Shining Armor, though, so, that looks good. With the Death card, you have the Temperance card. Yeah, it's like two things mixing together. You're trying to decide if two things can mix together or not. The other thing here is that there's this crown back here. I always say that, the Temperance card, the Temperance Angel could just get off on this path and go claim their crown. And it's like maybe you need to take the lead in a group of people. If you belong to a group, or if you're working with a group of people or whatever, it's like maybe you feel like you're being pulled away or drifting away. But that might not be right, what I said there. Really what could be happening is that you're drifting away because you want to take the lead in the situation, and maybe you should. Some people will follow, some people won't, right? And I feel this is kind of encouraging you to be a Leo, be a leader. With the World, you have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, a lot of clarity. This Mercury retrograde in particular seems to be bringing a lot of clarity. Some do, some don't. But I feel like this one could be bringing answers, like we just said. So you could be getting some answers. She's clear for the first time, but she's also kind of cautiously optimistic. Again, the whole entire reading is asking you to maybe be open to new ideas, or, ideas that you would normally resist or whatever, and to try things just a little bit. Like I said, no, you don't have to make any major commitments. You can just, experiment with life and see what works and see what doesn't. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this call your ally card. It says loyal, powerful, capable, and guide. You have this false friend. It says ulterior motives, disingenuous, and selfish. It's coming up in the good stuff. So, this could be a time. I would say not even just this week, Leo. I feel this has been a long-term thing. I've said it to you before, Leo. I definitely feel out of all the signs, except for Sagittarius, by the way, I think Leo has maybe had a lot of issues with people that they've worked with, and like having to learn who they can trust, who they can't trust, trusting people too much and getting hurt, things like that. I'm not even talking about love here. It could be, but that could be part of it. But I think it's also like mostly work, and this is coming up in the good stuff, so maybe you can finally see it. You have the Lovers, Seven of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles. Lovers, of course, can be love coming in for you, so if you want love, could be a solid connection. You have a little bit of everything here. So, really it could be any sign that's coming in for you, but I do feel it could be love. That's all I'm getting on that card. You have the Seven of Pentacles. I feel pretty good about this because I feel it's saying you're ready for a change. Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. He is looking at these Seven Pentacles and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it for me to keep putting time, effort, energy, attention into these pentacles, or is there something else that I could grow? And so I do feel like there's a difference here, because it's like I feel that maybe you have wanted to change for a long time, but it's like now you're ready for the change, which is like a little bit different. It's like you're more at the right place to make a change, and so I feel like you are going to make a change. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four Pentacles in the good stuff is like financial security and, doing things to make sure that you are financially stable, which I think is great. Money looked pretty good in the November monthly reading. So, I think that there could be a lot of improvements for you financially, or, you are doing things to make more money financially, or, to improve your finances financially is what I was trying to say. And I think that would be good for you with the Four of Pentacles. I also feel... I'm pretty sure I said this to you when you're in the November readings. Like, Four of Pentacles, he's playing it a little bit too safe. So he's, again, he's coming up in the good stuff. But, again, you have the Five of Swords. I would be, like, don't play it too safe. With the Lovers, you have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, being bold, being assertive. You have to be seen to, obviously for a person to be interested in you. So I know that's a weird concept, and now they're coming out with robot girlfriends and boyfriends, which don't get me started on that. That's going to be a disaster, But what I would say here is that, again, someone has to see you with their eyeballs to fall in love with you in the first place, Leo. So I would make sure that you're getting attention. The Queen of Wands is the card of seduction, the card of being seductive. But again, you have to go do that. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Six of Wands. Yes, very good. A lot of attention in this reading. Six of Wands is like a victory or a big success coming in for you, which the whole entire reading kind of looks like that, especially with the World card here to the Six of Wands. There could be some sort of victory or success. Six of Wands is also standing out. So, we go from hermit mode to like the opposite of hermit mode. He's getting a lot of attention on the Six of Wands. Everybody on that card is celebrating him and is celebrating his victory. And what do you know? With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Chariot, which is a big-ass victory. Maybe that's what this reading is. It's a big-ass victory coming in for you here, Leo. The Chariot is like charging towards a victory. It's also about kind of like charging over obstacles, or, conquering certain obstacles in your life. So, love it. You have this Bat card that says, take care, enemies are working against you. Yeah, I would really just trust your instincts on people. I don't think this is bad. I think it's something that Leo has learned, like I just said, over many years, about like who you can trust and who you can't trust. So like trust those warning signs. Like, if you meet a new person, or if you're working with a group of people and they remind you of a past person, then you probably shouldn't trust them. You have this Grasshopper card. It says situation in the balance that requires careful handling. No, I think you're being too careful with the Hermit and the Four of Pentacles showing up in this reading. I feel that you need, it's almost like you're, playing it too safe with something here, especially if you're trying to get answers. You know what I mean? Especially if you're like interested in your friend. For example, just giving you an example here, Leo. Clearly, some of you are. And, what I would say here is it's like, people always used to ask me that question, like, should I ask my friend out? I'm like, well, it's like, if you don't, you're never going to know. And it's like, right, you want more. from that person. So, you know what I mean? It's like if you don't, then you're basically living a lie in some ways. So, take the risk. You have this V card. It says victory in some endeavor. Clearly, there's like a big-ass victory coming in for you here. There's a big-ass V right here on this card. You have this kite card. It says vacation. Yeah, some of you might need a vacation. You need more fun in your life, and maybe that's what this card is talking about, is like you having more fun, doing things you enjoy, all that other good stuff. You have this dog. It says protection from a powerful friend. It's funny, you end with this card that says false friend, and then you have the ally card as well. It's like, this could be a time where you're really seeing who has your back and who doesn't, right? And so I would be paying attention to that as well. But this looks really good, Leo. I love this. So thank you for being here. Make sure to like and leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.